Oh, this is a good one.
2 minutes until showtime.
Nice. All right. Who do we good? Oh, hey, Robert. Might help if I actually shared this. I was too busy paying attention to something else.
1 minute until showtime.
It's almost showtime. Okay, we got... Share this out. Oh. Okay. Okay. Son of a gun. Alright. Well, that's new. Alright. Okay.
Your show will go live in
here we
5
go.
seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is Susan Swanbeck, CEO of the ACU Network. This work is protected by Creative Commons licensing.
For the next 2 fun-filled hours, get ready to learn something new, be inspired, enlightened, spooked, helped, laugh, cry, and be awakened. And now, your host of Awakening the Unknown. You never know what these two will be up to next. So please welcome Susan Swanbeck.
Hello, everyone. And we have Kate and Mask, as always, on a Thursday. And I thought today we could have some awesome fun. That's the idea of today. I want to have a lot of fun. And I just ran across some really whack stuff I haven't really looked into in a long time. And, you know, here's the thing. You know, you think about this for a while. And the stories that... You remember the ghost stories? You used to sit around the campfire and have a shitload of ghost stories when we were kids, right? I don't know if you did that. I'm much older than you. So, anyways.
Well, we still did it.
Okay, I was just checking. I didn't know. But at least we did, and we had a beach. So we would literally get a little fire going on a beach because it was a private beach. And move your mouse over Caden's face. It looks like you're picking his nose. Very funny, Robert. You know, you hear these stories, and it's like... And the stories stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. And you never know whether or not these stories really are true or false. That's what it is. So,
Very true.
yeah, I thought it would be fun to definitely talk about some urban legends, you know, things that are going on, and see what tales you guys have actually heard. Because, you know, they're like all over the world here. You know, because
Right.
we multicast all over the world. We have tons of listeners from every part of the world, every continent. So literally, our legends and your legends have to be different. So it's like, I want to hear them. So don't forget, guys, you can call in at 563-999-3002. So, and I've got a couple of lists going already. I don't know what you got going, but I got a couple going. Okay.
You know me. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of a fly off the seat of my pants type of dude.
Yeah, so it's like I've got a bunch of stuff going, and literally some of this is about like Christmas trees, gods and goddesses, and, you know, myths in certain area. You know, are they fact? Are they fiction? And then I also just ran across this creepy urban legends.
Ooh, I bet there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah, creepy urban legends. But see, here's the thing: this thing wants to make me go there and investigate. Okay? I want to know. I want to know if this first one is true. Huh.
Let's hear it.
All right. Well, the first one is actually called, it's in Alabama. It's called Hell's Gate Bridge.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
good. You'll know it. I'll read what I got, and you tell me how far off this is, because you got to remember, this is the internet. We don't know. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. The general acceptance story of Hell's Gate Bridge starts in 1950s. A young couple driving over the bridge somehow drove their car off the bridge one night, and they both drowned. Okay, that's pretty much the backstory. All right, see what happens. There are actually two legends associated with this. Two. Associated, of course, with Hell's Gates Bridge. One is that if you drive your car out into the middle of the bridge, turn off the lights, the couple will magically appear in your car and leave wet spots on your seat. To me, that sounds a little far-fetched. I don't know. The other one, which is how the bridge got its name, is the belief that if you drive over the bridge and look over your shoulder halfway through, the scenery behind you turns into a portal to hell. Huh. So,
Yeah, I thought I was thinking about the same place as you. I have not heard this one.
yeah, this is potentially the Curb Ghost Hunters. They were and they actually boarded teens. Hell's Gate Bridge is actually closed to cars now. It's in such disrepair that walking across the bridge is strongly discouraged. There's actually a link to this on Google's Maps. And it's in...
Does it say what city or county it's in Alabama?
In Alabama. Hold on, let's see if we can pull this up. This is actually, oh my God, Chocolow Creek.
Okay, yeah, not the same bridge I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
then.
Oxford, Alabama. Son of a
Gotcha.
gun.
Okay.
I would love, absolutely love to sit there and go investigate this. Now, I know, like, you're big into the paranormal, and I'm saying, well, how can we combine both of our things? I love facts.
Yeah.
You like paranormal. Tell me you wouldn't want to go investigate this bridge.
Oh, no, absolutely. Anything that has the word devil, hell, demonic,
Yep.
anything like that,
Yep.
I'm going to it.
Yep.
Just because
Plus, it's running water.
it really is. You know, we spoke about this before. I'm the type of dude that, I don't run away from stuff like that. I am a believer, but I'm a skeptic first. I'm a very healthy skeptic, healthy believer. So I want to go to these places and experience it myself to see just how truthful it is. But I'm not naive enough to know or to, say just because I go one time doesn't mean that I proved or disproved. You got to go back.
No, you got. I agree. You got to go back and back and back and back.
Now, what is interesting in that legend is because it's very similar to another bridge, which is in Florence, which is probably like 2 hours away from where you're talking about.
Huh.
It's called Goatman Bridge. It's also in Alabama.
All right.
And it has the same kind of backstory. There was this young couple that went there. You could drive over it, but it's an old school wooden bridge is what it was.
Okay.
And they went over it and they parked and they were trying to have a romantic night. And then they supposedly seen a goat man come from underneath the bridge and on the bridge with them. Huh. And they left. Well, everybody hearing about this, they go back and supposedly some kids ended up going missing, and they later found their bodies underneath the bridge, like completely shredded apart.
Huh.
Now, you know, I've actually, me and Alyssa both have been to this bridge before.
Oh, you have?
We actually went, because it's only 40 minutes from us. It's really not that far.
Oh, shit.
So we went to that bridge. We didn't pick up anything paranormal, supernatural, nothing eerie. I mean, it's a cool looking bridge. It's a very old bridge that's shut down to the public. You can no longer drive over it.
Yeah.
But we went there, I know, twice for sure, and we just didn't get anything.
Huh.
Didn't get anything.
Huh.
But I mean, I don't know. I love urban legends. That's
that's me too. I love it because you got to remember sometimes, like, one legend or a story, even if you do a round. I mean, literally, guys, if you get time, try a round. If you guys don't know what a round is, tell one person a story. They have to in turn tell the next, until you go through like maybe 10 people. By the time the story gets told to the original person, it's never the same. Hey, Dawn, how you doing?
Hey, Dawn.
Oh, hey, Sheila.
Yeah.
Sheila says, hello, Kaden and Sue.
Hello, Sheila. Hello,
oh, my God. So that's, and over here, there was almost a similar story, and this was Norwood. They've changed the bridge, of course, and it was like an old wooden bridge, and it was in the middle of Norwood. It was like literally on Route 140, which not really a highway. It's kind of like a wannabe highway. It goes through all the towns and cities, so it's a route.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a main county street.
It was basically the main drive before they put the highway in, to actually get back and forth from Franklin to which the one house was, and the beach house, which was down there. So my parents used to go that way. And this one bridge was the one with the legend. It had something, and again, from what I remember, and my memory is kind of sporadic, but from what I remember, that particular bridge, which is weird, it's over a river, so this cannot be true. Or there could be something similar. So if anybody lives in like Franklin, Norwood area and knows about the old bridge that I'm talking about, which it is cement now and it has everything in it, there was a little running stream, very small running stream. And from what they were told, this was Native American burial ground. So anybody who drove over it became cursed. Because even though you weren't touching the land, you were driving over the land. So you got a curse, is what happened. So, and again, some people that really are like, oh my God, a curse, they literally feed into that.
Right.
So, I was over that bridge several times. I must tell you, Kaden, I really like you and your wife too. Very nice people. Thank you, Sheila. They are the sweethearts. But literally, and again, was that just a story?
Well, I mean, it's just like you said, it's the train game,
Yeah.
Somebody seen something. I'm not doubting that somebody heard something or witnessed something. But then I tell you, like, Sue, oh my goodness, I seen these people in a freaking crop circle, and they were doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go and tell Robert, hey, at this bridge, there's a whole bunch of Illuminati people, and they're doing human sacrifices, and don't go over there because you're going to get cursed. And then Robert's going to go on. By the time it gets to whoever, it's going to be
a totally different story.
Devils. It's going to be a hell's gate that opens up and eats you. I mean, it's just going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally. And I know there's portals. I've been to places with portals. So, something like this is like, okay, well, and here's the other question. As far as this bridge, if they're both on the same river, this is my question, is if they're both on the same river, could the energy be traveling because of the water? That's my question, too.
Well, think about urban legends. Urban legends are stories,
right?
But so was Bigfoot. So was extraterrestrials.
Yep.
So was Slender Man and Zozo. All them. They were all started out as Mothman. They started out as stories, and then what happened? Mass hysteria happened. Yep. What happens with mass hysteria? our energy feeds into it to where we actually manifest something that is now
But we end up
real.
with the best movies.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's my
You know?
theory.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I
Yeah.
mean, I never delved into Slender Man. I did delve into Zozo because we did a whole experiment with that.
Right.
But I dug into Slender Man. It started years ago. I mean, it wasn't back in the 50s and 40s and 30s. It's very new. They started with a book
Yep.
or a website that turned into a book that turned into a movie. And then people started mass hysteria, just like
Yep.
what kids and naive people do. Oh, I
Yep.
see something. And now you have millions of people that claim to have seen Slender Man. Now, I'm not saying our minds are very powerful.
Right.
Your mind could be tricking you that you're seeing this slender dude in the
Yeah, I don't.
forest.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing. I don't think I've ever seen Slender Dude, the Grim Reaper. I definitely seen him in my teenage years. I shit you
Nice.
not. I seen
I'm pretty
him.
jealous.
I'm
jealous of
sleeping. I'm literally sleeping, and you get this creepy hand coming out, going. Doing the slow come here thing. And I shit you not. It really happened. Now, is this true or false?
I mean, you experienced it, so it's true.
Oh, is
It's
it?
your personal truth.
Is it true or
It's
did
your
I just
personal-
make it up?
It's your personal truth. I'm not going to say that it's universally true, but it's your personal truth.
It actually, it
That's
did
what-
happen. It freaked me the hell out. It really did.
Yeah.
It freaked me literally, that was, teenager, still in high school.
Yeah.
That shit freaked me out, but damn. You see
Imagine.
the Grim Reaper, that's saying something there. It's like, man,
really
I
is.
better calm down the partying as a teenager.
Right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I mean,
all I
when
was
I was-
thinking.
When I was just a young little tot, I think I was like 10 or 11, I seen, at the time I just called it Goat Man, but on in years after I told my granddad what happened, he actually told me the urban legend behind what I saw in our hometown.
Oh,
And,
shit.
I was hunting, which it was edge of woods. I'm trying to get this, my phone to stand up while I'm talking. There we go. So I'm in the woods and I'm hunting, and it was late in the evening.
Drop
It
something.
was late in the evening because I'm lazy and I do not like getting up early. So I go hunting, and I'm down there and I'm just scoping out my place, getting ready, and I hear leaves crunching and a twig snap. Of course, I stop and I'm like, okay, is that deer? Is it squirrel? Like, what was that? Something fall? And then I look, and it's like all of a sudden I was like, something's watching me. And I look, and I'm like squeezing my little 10, 11-year-old eyes like this, like trying to see.
Yup.
And I seen what I called Goat Man. It was bipedal. It was standing on just the two legs. And it had the legs of like a goat, but the hair went more so up towards the chest area. And it had droopy ears and a very muscular build. you know.
Wow.
It was far away, so I can't tell you any facial features except for it was a flat face like a human's. It didn't have elongated snout or anything like that. I seen it. I freaked. I hightailed my rear end out of there. I mean, that was it. Done. Nope. And in all actuality, it was probably around 75 to 100 yards away from me.
Yeah.
So, it's still way too close for comfort. And
Wow.
what something like that is doing in Podunk, Kossuth, Mississippi, where I'm from, no idea. I didn't tell anybody because I knew they thought I was crazy because I had already had some crazy stories before that. Nobody believed me, and I'm like, they're definitely not going to believe me about this. So.
Well, see,
I
I
waited.
think I was lucky. I had two younger sisters, so I pretty much could convince them of anything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
guys.
It happens. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're probably going to hear Alyssa and her mom and my kid, talking every now and again. So it happens.
No, I mean, literally. I mean, my sisters, I had them convinced of a lot of stuff when I was a kid, but I think because I was more open and they
Yeah.
were more scared that they kind of like backed away, or maybe they don't like horrors because of the amount of times I spooked them. I don't know. It could be it.
could've.
Yeah, it could be it.
And
I could have done
just
that.
to kind of tie my story into our urban legend in my area, though.
Yeah.
You know, I was 15. I had been doing some farm work with my great-grandfather.
Right.
And I always loved hearing his stories, and he always talked about when he lived in Detroit and, you know, back in the Great Depression and all that stuff that he had to do. And I was asking him, and he just, up out of the blue, I never knew that anybody else in my family believed anything supernatural, paranormal. We were just sitting there, and I think we were watching Saturday night NWO. That's old school wrestling. NWO, that era. And he was just like, have you ever seen anything weird in the woods before? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, have you ever seen something that was not human in the woods? And my granddad is just very frank, get to the point, no bull crap. And I was like, yeah, but, you know, I don't really know why. Why are you asking?
Yeah.
He's like, so then he proceeds to tell me that, and again, guys, I'm from Mississippi. I get it. This kind of ties into all the stereotypes about Mississippians. But apparently, back when he was growing up, there were some farmers that, we call them the Spideys. It's a family that's here in my side of town. They're inbred. You know, they're just those types of people. Nobody mess with them. They live on their own. And they were farmers. They were sheep farmers. Now, everybody knows that scientific male humans can actually produce offsprings with sheep. That's the only bestiality combination that can produce an offspring.
Okay.
Yeah. So these male farmers were having relations with these sheep, and they would have these mutated offsprings. Now, usually they never lasted very long. They were either born dead or they were die shortly after being born, but sometimes supposedly they would live. And he told me, he was like, you know, I seen one before. And in my little mind, I'm like, well, I did see something close to what you're describing when I was, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you know? Like, how do you know? Did they just announce to the world that they have this freak of nature child, that's half sheep, half human? Like, what? And he said that what it was is the women in that family, they would find out that their husbands had these sheep and they'd be pregnant. But in their way, the women didn't want to kill the offspring if it was alive. They would actually raise it in the barn, and when it got to a certain age where they thought that it could take care of itself, they would put them in the horse trailer and ship them out towards Tishomingo State Park, which is a 30-minute drive. And they would dump them in that national forest out there because they knew they would be protected because there's nobody allowed to hunt over there.
Right.
So, even in those times. So all these things were sent to this one area, but sometimes they would migrate back. And that's what he said. He showed me on the map. It's like a crescent moon where all the sightings had been. So, yeah, we have sheep people in my area. And I'm not the only one that has seen them. We actually had a private client that seen what he thought was Goat Man and what I thought could have been our urban legend, but it turned out to be a fae folk. So that was our fairy case.
Wow. Robert says, no wonder there's hairy New Zealanders.
Yeah, it could be. I remember watching that documentary years ago because they were learning about cloning, and they had made the statement that, sheep, they were trying to use the male anatomy with the sheep to create a hybrid, and it was the only collateral too. So
yeah, and part of what you were talking about as far as like the inbred, try to think into horror movies now. There was a horror movie, and for the life of me I can't remember the name of it.
The Hills Have Eyes.
Huh? Yes.
Hills Have Eyes.
Yes.
The Bean family.
Yes, it sounds
Yeah.
very familiar to what you're describing. So, literally, now this is true or not true?
From my experience, I'm going to say that this is true to an
Okay.
extent.
Okay.
I don't
So,
believe that there's hundreds of these offsprings by no means, but I
right.
do believe that some of these things lived on
Hmm.
for however long.
So, how
Um,
many, like, maybe authors or movie people actually got a hold of this story and created it? So, think about it. How
yeah,
many horror movies that we know of are actually based on real truth or real experiences from people, like the Mothman prophecies? Okay, there's another one.
yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We know that was based on truth too. So
yeah.
all of these things were actually based on some type of urban legend.
Truth.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty cool when you think about it.
it
You
really
know?
is. 'Cause, I mean, the Hills Have Eyes movie, I didn't know that it was based on a real family, but
Yeah.
sure enough, it was, and their story is creepy crazy. Now, I probably wouldn't have believed all of it had I
Right.
not seen, the documents and the news recordings and the papers and stuff like that
Right.
from it. I'm just like, see, this is how urban legends start. You take a small portion of the truth and you
Yeah.
magnify it.
Yeah, and what's a better way to actually magnify everything than television? So
Exactly.
that's what it is. This is like, fact to fiction or myth or legends, but most of the time our myths do become legends. And the legends just expand and expand and expand is what it is. And it's
Well, I mean, that's
actually,
just
yeah. It's
the perfect example is
amazing.
Zozo, the Ouija board demon that
Yeah.
everybody seems to be so terrified of. He's
Yeah.
not real.
Nope.
It's a trickster. It's not a real demon. It has no real power.
Yep.
It's a manifestation from mass hysteria. It's just energy. It's a poltergeist, if you will,
Yep.
basically. I mean,
That's another one.
it has nothing.
That's another one. Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Where did that start? Does
I
anybody
think
have
that it
any
started,
idea?
I don't remember the year, but it was in Dante's Inferno when he did the book, and it was back in the satanic people, the Temple of Set, I think's believe what it was.
I think so,
They
yeah.
they had mentioned a poltergeist being a demon, and then in Dante's Inferno, he said that a poltergeist was a demon. I don't believe that
Right.
personally, because even back then they were so scared to do what we do now, which is quench our curiosity and learn for ourselves instead of that's
Exactly.
something I don't know about, I don't understand it, so it's automatically bad and demonic. That's just how they were back then. It is what it is. But,
Yeah. I
you
do
know-
believe. Now, it's like, all right, guys, do you guys think that it actually would be harder to start a myth today and to make it become a legend unless it's actually true?
I think it would be more. I think it'd be easier to start a myth now than what it was back when these urban legends that we know now.
Huh.
Simply because this is my thinking. Back in those days, they didn't have TV and radio like what we have. They didn't have internet.
That's why everybody had so
they
many
were-
kids.
Yeah, they were very skeptical. They were hardworking, no nonsense type of people.
Yep.
Now, I can see why somebody said, well, it'll be harder because there's so many fakes out there and nobody's going to believe somebody. But actually, on the contrary, I'm in a lot of paranormal groups and pages, and I look at these things, and there's, unfortunately, a whole lot of gullible people.
Yeah, there is.
Whole mess.
Yeah, there is. There is. I mean, if you're out and it's humid and you get all these white dots on a photograph, dude, that's like humidity.
Yeah, it's humidity, dust,
Yeah,
moisture
it really
in the
is.
air. It's crazy, and it's no fault to their own because they haven't been taught.
Exactly.
And there's not a whole lot of credible teams or credible individuals for somebody to get on and talk to like they can talk to me and you.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that I'm credible. People can make up their own minds about me.
Right.
But, if anybody was to call me now and ask me questions, I'm going to answer. Well, you can't just call these celebrities up and be like, ask them questions because chances are they're not going to contact you back. Or
Right.
talk.
Well, I mean, I call them paracelebs, but I've never been. I don't know. I've still always gone out to try to find information by myself. Is what I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert says 14th century for Dante's Inferno.
Thank you.
14th
Inferno.
century.
Yes, thank you.
Definitely. So I mean, there's so many myths and legends. You have no idea. I mean, I found it a website called Ancient Origins. I sent that to you. They actually give you downloaded PDF free books for you to read. So
I seen that.
Yeah.
I got on there scrolling, and I was trying to like when I had time at work, and I was scrolling. There's actually some really cool ones on there that I'm definitely going to go back and read because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of that one.
No,
But that's
some of
just
these
like-
I've never even heard of. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty cool. It really
I mean,
is.
that's
pretty
just
cool.
like mermaids. You know, mermaids is considered an urban legend. There's many
Considered.
sagas wrote about. Yeah. There's many
Considered.
sagas about them. There's many
Yeah.
poems, books,
Yeah.
movies.
Yep.
I mean, there's millions of stories. So, fact or fiction, mermaids.
Yeah. See, I would have to say fact. I would say fact for mermaids only because I'm thinking that, and again, follow my logic here. This
All right.
you don't have to, but you can try. The city of Atlantis fell under
Yeah.
the water, under the ocean. So the Atlanteans, okay, the Atlanteans actually evolved and actually ended up with fins. Okay,
I
so
can see
this
that.
is my thinking because Atlanteans were very advanced. So yes, I do believe that there is an entire city hidden under the ocean, and everybody's going to say, "Well, if there's a city hidden under the ocean, why don't we see it?" Key term: hidden under the ocean. But
Well,
if the
that we've
Atlanteans,
only-
right?
We've only discovered or started to discover or research less than a quarter of the entire ocean in the world.
Exactly. And I really believe because they have had some skeletons wash up on the beach, and I forget where it was, that actually did have like the fins of a fish, and man, I forget what that was. I read
Like
that
the
article
dorsal
a while
fin?
ago. Yeah, dorsal fins, human remains at the top.
Yeah.
You know, and their teeth were a little different. They were sharper, I guess, so they could eat. So, yeah, I do believe that that's a possibility. I mean, you know, not yanking your crank or anything else and pulling your chain. I truly believe this is real.
Yeah.
You know, but that's
I
me.
believe in the possibility of everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, if, you know, that's just like Bigfoot. A lot of people don't believe in Bigfoot. I do.
Yeah.
To me, there's way too many documentation, way too many personal accounts by credible individuals. Even with the, you know, everybody says, you know, lack of evidence. Okay, there's been hair, there's been, you know, feet print molds taken.
Yeah.
There's been stuff like, well, they have to die, so where's the bodies? I have a different theory on that, but again, something that
too.
wants to stay hidden. It's not going to leave evidence behind, you know.
Well, my theory, and I don't know what yours is, but my theory about where they go has to do with time portals.
I think that they're interdimensional beings.
Yes, they
personally.
travel through portals. That's my belief. I believe that Bigfoot and some of the other legendary creatures do travel through the portals. And there are open portals. You know,
I was listening to one of my mini podcasts, and this one was specifically on Norse mythology. Norse mythology. And it was talking about, you know, before Odin, you know, you had the giant, and I'm not going to try to pronounce these names. You had the giant that was there.
Yep.
When Odin slayed him,
Yep.
he sent the dwarves and the other elementals underground in the caves. That's where they stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's the first time that I heard this in Norse mythology about, you know, the dwarves and other mythical creatures being sent underground to live and to dwell.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that in ufology and cryptozoology. People who are pro Hollow Earth, talking about, you know, the dragons and stuff being in the caves.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe that there is an underground cave system that these things have over time went to live and to stay, and waiting on us dumb humans to do whatever we're gonna do. I mean, they're just biding their time.
I got another movie reference for you. Two of them. The movie The Cave. Have you seen the movie The Cave?
Is that where they are?
There's a girl. She kind of lost her daughter and her husband, and they like to go cave climbing, like cliff climbing.
Yeah.
Right. So they explored different cave things, and literally only one made it out, or did she? And that's the thing, you don't know. It's a really intense movie where...
Is that the one that had like the monster that was stalking them and killing them? Like,
well,
it was like
yeah,
an
but
alien
this
type.
person didn't have eyes. It was
Yeah,
like...
he was blind.
Right, it was like an individual that was like, because you were underground, so you didn't need to see. You could use your other senses. So how do we know that those people weren't from elementals, and somebody took the elemental thing from the skinny beings, and lo and behold, they just ate whatever was around. So yeah, they ended up eating the people that were there. That's another movie.
True.
Telling you,
that's just like for the life of me, everybody or the people who do not believe in fae folk. How can you not believe in fae folk when there are countries and cities and continents that have federal laws to protect them? Like, how can you not? What is it? It's Finland and Ireland that I know for sure.
Yep.
That have
Ireland.
federal, not just
Yep.
regular laws, federal laws to protect fae folk.
Right.
But
And all the fae folk are different. They're not
Yeah.
all the same size, and no, they're not pretty little Tinkerbells either, guys. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people like fairies aren't real, or fae folk aren't real.
Right.
Then tell me, if they're not real, why are there federal laws to protect them in other countries?
How do you know that some of the fae folk from like Ireland are part of the elementals?
True.
Yeah, the original elementals that went under. Because you have to remember, the continents separated.
Yeah.
And they weren't always like that. So when the fae folk went underground, they ended up in different areas.
True. Well, I mean, there's been, I think it was, there was somebody that I used to talk to, and he had a run-in with a gnome, and I think it was Dave, and I'm not sure. But he had a run-in with a gnome in his yard.
Yep.
And he was it was either him or somebody he knew, and they took a video of this, and I've never seen it. He was just talking about it, so again, take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
But they had taken a video of this gnome running in the backyard and going back into the woods, and then coming back out, and then going back. And
yeah,
I would love to see videos like that. All the ones that I've seen, I can easily debunk, just because if you watch enough stuff and you do kind of what we do, you can tell when something's been edited or photoshopped.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, you really can. I mean, I can make somebody look like a ghost on video. I can do that. You know, I've done that. No, I've done that.
Not that good.
No, this was first show I was putting together for someone else. So yeah, I took my son. As a matter of fact, I took my son Joe, and we went in. It's like, okay, I need somebody to do blah 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 blah. When I was putting something together, it was about the Freetown State Forest and the satanic cult and how they were taking the animals up and everything. So there was something put together. They have investigation. And so in the beginning, when we were explaining the history of the land, I wanted background behind them to explain and act out what. So he acted it out. So I literally made him look like a shadow in the background. So
yeah, I'm not that good. I cannot do video editing to save my life. I can do pictures. You know, I can do some awesome banners and pictures and stuff, but you know, that's just me. And so you can, like I said, you can easily tell. We no longer talk, but I had this other paranormal investigator that used to send me videos and pictures all the time, asking me, what I thought about them. You
Right.
know, he would get them from a client, or he would say, like, what do you think? And he would get so mad because I would debunk it. Like,
Yeah.
every single time.
Do you put
You know,
yours in
there
a
was-
negative too?
I put mine through negatives, and then I
Yeah.
also changed the color hue.
Yeah.
Because if it's legit, the color hue is going to be the same in that area. It's not going to be
Yep.
pink and then blue all of a sudden where that thing is.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
So,
So, yeah.
there's this one, and we kind of got into a really heated argument because it was a girl sitting in a chair, and it was like, I'm trying to do it. There's something here, and then something back here.
Right.
So, and that's all. It was black and then black. And when I looked at the picture, first thing I'm immediately looking for is I'm looking for lamps. Okay, where is the light source coming from so I can see how the
Yep.
shadows are going to be cast?
Right.
So I'm looking. Well, the light source was up and in front of her because I could see her shadow back here.
Right.
I'm like, okay. I was like, well, I know that this shadow right here is actually somebody smudged out. Somebody was walking behind her.
Right.
And it was just a slow shutter is what
Yep.
it was. And the thing that was right here, she put her hand right here and was trying to pass it off like the top of somebody's head. I'm like, no, I can see your knuckles and your indentions in your fingers. Like, that's your hand, and that's a slow shutter behind you.
You're right.
Because I paid attention to the back when I changed the hue and ran it through the negative. There's just a very small tail on everything that was behind her, telling me, indeed, it was a slow shutter. It wasn't just this one object that had a tail.
Right.
Everything behind her had a tail.
Yep.
So that means you were moving the camera as you were taking the picture.
Yeah, because not
Come on.
everybody has an extremely steady hand either. And
No.
that's why you need
No.
tripods. Tripods,
Yep.
people. Very important.
Right. And the ones that tickle me the most and I see it almost every other day, is somebody taking a random picture of a corner of their house. What do you see?
A corner.
I see a corner of a house. That's what I see. You know, my first brain, I'm like, why are you taking this picture? What made you want to take this picture?
Yeah.
Well, it just creeps me out. Okay, what about it creeps you out? Well, I just feel like something's standing there. I'm like, okay, valid point, but why did you choose to take your picture without any sort of lights on at all?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
you're looking. You're looking for attention, and if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But
Right.
let's not start an urban legend because you got creeped out by a corner of your house.
You know, and it is what it is. It's like you put that into people that are opening and awakening, and again, sometimes it can be explained away that way, and other times it can be explained away by certain medication actually do affect people as well. So these are all things that we need to look into. Now, my question is, some of these urgent legends here, how many people are on some serious LSD?
There's really no telling, especially when some of these started. You know?
You know, I mean, you think about it. It's like, how did you guys? Oh yeah, that's right. There was one. Oh, I think it's a Acushnet. There's a road in a Acushnet where they tell you, do not drive down this road at a certain time of night. You're not supposed to drive down this road, and definitely don't drive down the road with your lights off. Why would somebody say that? First of all, that's dumb. You're in the middle of a dirt road. Don't turn your lights off. Well, duh.
If it's dark, I'm not turning my lights
You got to
off.
be able to see where you're going. So me, of course, I take my 68 Pontiac Le Mans and off I go. I'll drive out in the middle of the woods. I shut the lights off and I'm sitting waiting. But that's me, because, but this legend went on and on and on and on. But no, it wasn't true. It started off with, I don't know, some type of ghostly murderers with hatchets was supposed to come out and kill you. And if you went to another area, the witches were going to come out and curse you. I mean, this was it's like, guys, this is all bullshit. Literally, bullshit.
Yeah.
So I literally went down there with a few of my friends, and it's like, it's not true. You
It's
might
like,
feel the energy, but are you feeling the energy because you were
you're
told
scared
the
and nervous.
story? That's it. You're told the story. So, yes, a part of you might feel the energy, but it's not true. So that's what happens.
I mean, that's just like, like I said, we've debunked a couple of our urban legends around us. Not just that bridge, but also in our local town. We have 2 cemeteries. They're called Purdy Cemetery, and both of them. One cemetery supposedly had a witch that she just hated you, and if you seen her, you were hexed, and she would chase after you. That was one legend.
Yeah.
The other cemetery that was half a mile up the road, which we actually investigated the mansion, Purdy Mansion, that's not far from it.
Right.
But the cemetery that's up the road, Purdy number 1, they had a huge oak tree. Now, legend said if you went and you parked your vehicle in front of this tree, killed your engine, you would not be able to crank your vehicle. You had to push it out to the road so it can crank again.
All right.
Us being us, let's go test this out, So we went to Purdy number 1 with the tree.
Yeah.
We did it. Nothing. And we actually went quite a few times when I was younger. Me and a group of kids, like, we would go and do it.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing.
You got to go check it out.
Yeah. Nothing ever happened. Now, we went to Purdy number 2, me and Alyssa did.
Yeah.
And it's actually not a witch. He is a 7th son. And
A 7th
he had
son
6
of a
sons.
7th son, yeah.
Yeah, and he was working on his own 7th son, but he had 6 boys. The 7th one was a daughter, and that ended the line right there.
Huh.
But
that was a
he's
movie,
not,
too.
Yeah, it was actually a really good movie.
Yeah, the 7th
But
son.
he wasn't mean. He wasn't malicious by no means.
Yeah.
He wanted a conversation. And we sat there and talked to him for like 2 hours. We actually took 2 of our friends who were intrigued with what we do. We took them with us, and they were just like, and I'm in there. He had his own little iron plot,
Yeah.
and nobody had ever picked it up. And I asked permission. I said, "Would you be okay?" It had broken limbs in there. I said, "Can I enter your plot and clean up your plot while you're talking to Alyssa?"
Yeah.
And we had our spirit box going, and he said yes. I said, "Awesome." And I cleaned up his plot. And as we were leaving to go, he was starting to get tired, and like we are too. I was
Right.
like, "If we come back, will you talk to us?" And he said, "Yes, and I'm going to bless you for cleaning my plot." Clear as day. I will bless you for cleaning.
Wow.
What it actually said.
That is pretty cool.
So I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey."
All
right.
There's a lot of things that actually can be explained away, and I had one at the top of my head, and I totally spaced it right out. It just went, shoo. Oh, I remember. Yeah, certain things do spook certain people. For instance, my kids grew up different because when my father passed, my father had this thing when he was alive. If there was something on top of the fridge and you did something wrong, he would throw it off. Boom, there it would go. So every time my husband used to do something he didn't want, or my kids did something wrong, the shit would come flying off the top of the fridge and would hit whoever it did. And I'd say, "Okay, what'd you do now?" Literally.
Yeah.
Papa Tattles, what'd you do now? So these are things that they got used to growing up. Like, their grandfather's gonna ghostly throw shit at them. So, and then their great-grandfather's gonna come and smell like pipe tobacco. So my kids grew up with, okay, this is normal.
Right.
But some kids didn't grow up with this is normal.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a very scary thought to them. And whenever, no matter what situation, whether you're dealing with urban legends or haunted house or
Right.
any type of situation, when you go in with that mindset that you're already terrified, guess what? Your mind's going to start hallucinating, and you're going to see the stuff you don't want to see, or you're going to
Exactly.
experience the stuff you don't want to experience.
Exactly.
It just happens.
It does. And it's all about intent and the emotion behind it and how you feel. That's exactly what it is. And we've only touched base on one of these legends, but I still would like to go check out the bridge. I will.
Yeah.
Just to see if it's real or not, or maybe I just end up with some cool pictures. Who knows? To me, it's a win-win.
Exactly. That's actually, if I'm thinking about where that Oxford Bridge is, it's really not that far to where we're going Bigfoot hunting later on, like when it cools off. Like, I want the
nice.
leaves and stuff to fall so that I can see better.
Yeah.
So, and I want all the snakes away because it's around some caverns and cave entrances, and I don't want to deal with snakes and get bit.
Oh, with
miles
us, it's
from the
ticks.
nearest thing. Yeah.
It's ticks and
I'm
the
okay.
coyotes.
I'm okay with ticks.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with snakes, though. You
I'm
know,
not
I don't
okay with
wanna
it.
get
I don't
it.
know. The coyotes. You know,
Yeah.
there are all kinds of things. Now, all right, there's another one actually in Alaska. So if we have anybody from Alaska out there, we want to know whether or not this is the truth. So, and this is called the Alaskan Triangle. I've never heard of this. Now, yeah, of course, everyone knows the story of the Bermuda Triangle, but you might not know about the Alaskan Triangle. On average, 5 out of every 1,000 people actually go missing in Alaska, according to the LA Times. So even if there is nothing supernatural going on, it's easy to get lost in the Alaskan wilderness, which it is. Now, what is it? It's the Tinggalite tribe that actually lives there. Has their own explanation for the high number of missing people. They say evil spirits, and they actually call them, oh my God, Kushiteka, if I pronounced that right. They're actually shapeshifters, which we were talking about last week. Half man, half otter. And they lure women and children to the water with fake cries in order to steal their human spirits and drown them.
Sounds like a siren.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually in Alaska, and it talks a lot about shape-shifting in that one. That's
We
another
gotta
one.
think. The Alaskan tribes are much like our Native Americans.
Yeah, they are.
Here. So
Just went boom! Think about that
Gee.
now. Guys, I didn't do that. I did not do that in any way, shape, or
Didn't-
form.
You know, last week my phone shut off while we were talking about it.
Shapeshifters.
So,
Mm-hmm.
shapeshifters is a trigger word, apparently.
Evidently. So, and again, they're talking half otter, half other things that are going on. So, yeah, this is really weird. Really weird. Because, you know, the energy. I mean, that only happened to me once before, but it wasn't about shapeshifters. It was when you Charleston was on, and he was talking
Yeah.
about some of the things that were happening in the world today and how the government and the media were actually making them happen more. So
Right.
things like that. But wow, that was pretty cool. I'm sorry. I call that cool. Most people go,
That is-
man. I say cool. Wow.
To me, that's cool because I can't blame Alyssa because she's not in here. Used to, and you know,
No, it was
Robert-
me. It
Robert-
disconnected and it reconnected all on its own.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't.
know, used to every time me and Alyssa were live together,
Yeah.
this would happen every single time. Doesn't matter if it was a podcast, a video cast. She would start talking and getting excited, and
Yeah.
everything would go away. So I can't blame her this go around. So I got to blame you. 'Cause you're the gifted one. I'm the lame and
No, I'm
ungifted. So.
telling you, it's like it's weird ass energy. It really is. It's very strange. You know, you're talking about myths and legends and everything else, and like there's oh God, what's her name? She's from the Czech Republic. I think it's what is it? Her name, Ayana, and she actually talks to the Ibis. Which are the aliens. She talks to them. She has actually a couple books out. She does a lot of appearances and things like that. She has a lot of explanations about things that are actually happening right now. So yeah, that's another one. Aliens. All these alien movies that came out long before the government said, yeah, they're real, even though most people, well, most of our type of people knew they were real.
Yeah.
These movies come out. Where'd they get the ideas?
Exactly. I mean, we've been visited by aliens since the beginning of our
Exactly.
time. So, you know,
Yeah.
our astral team that we used to work with, and we still communicate with quite a few of them that are on that team. They work on the astral plane with aliens. So when they go do a case, they have the Pleiadians on
Right.
their side, and you know, would battle mostly against the reptilians, but
Yeah.
every now and again they'd run into a different race. Now, me, I've never seen an alien. That is my bucket list. I want to see one face to face. I know, be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
I have seen 3 UFOs. 2 that I know for without a shadow of a doubt were legitimate UFOs. One, it could have been a satellite just going out of orbit. I don't know. That's been many, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Because it was way up there, and everything. I have when I'm UFO watching, I call it UFO. When I UFO watch,
UFO watch.
I'm looking UFO watch. I'm looking to see, where the satellites go. So if I see a satellite going this way constantly in the sky, if I see something going this way, okay, too high, or that's too high up to be a plane, or it's doing zigzags, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's a UFO.
Right. Even when they go, and they used to have the space exploration, and they went and they landed on the moon a few times, they weren't allowed to actually talk about their real experiences until they passed. When they passed, all of these stories actually came out. So all of these things the government is hidden. And if you go to, everybody wanted to run to Area 51. You're not going to find anything there. If you guys know about Area 51, dude, it's been wiped out a long time ago. So, and now, weird. It's really weird.
It is. And that's just, when it comes to the government, you really have to remember that MK Ultra was a very real thing. How far the government will go to keep their little secrets is unlimited. So you have to be extremely careful when you're dealing with some stuff, or you're going to have the legitimate Men in Black pay you a visit. We know of 3 individuals that have legitimate documents from the government telling them to cease and desist because they're too close to uncovering some stuff. And
I get shut down. I got shut right down with you, Charleston, on. I had the government, they shut me right down. They shut me down. They shut down my cell phone, which wasn't connected at the time. My son's phone worked fine. It was my phone, my entire internet, and everything else. Literally, my whole computer got shut down.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that goes back to the, now, it goes back to the, could it be, do you believe that it was the government, or do you believe that it was other intelligence? Like
it was, oh God, I forgot, I wrote it down. There was certain lettering, I actually wrote it down, and I looked it up, and it was the government.
Government, okay.
Yeah, it was the government that shut us down. And it happens all the time. You said that it happens to him all the time once he starts talking and gets too much information out there. And he says, yeah, you're right. So somebody else is picking it up. Boom! Shut us right down.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
It happens.
Yeah, this was different. This was like some type of a weird-ass energy thing. Everything just went...
Yeah.
Time loop!
Oh, hey. That was another... See, that was one that I wanted to kind of go over is, and we can do that on another Thursday, but like glitches in reality and time.
Oh my God, yeah. It's true.
I honestly want to get your advice because we watched a movie, quickly. We watched a movie a couple of days ago, and it's an old movie. It's The Mandela Effect.
Okay.
And we're watching it. I'm very familiar with the Mandela Effect. It intrigues me. But I was interested in the science and the mathematical part that they were talking about.
Right.
So we watched it, and I'm like, Alyssa just kind of looked over, and she's like, this whole movie was based on your life. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, think about, what you always tell me. These memories that you have, nobody else remembers, just you.
Right.
So are you in a different reality? Like, did you accidentally go to a different reality and stuff? So I don't know. I think I did. I think I'm from another. I think I'm from the parallel universe. That me and my parallel universe self accidentally switched.
Huh.
Simply because ever since I went searching, or I found that house in the woods, nothing else has really made sense since then.
Huh.
At all. All my childhood memories that I had up until that point are apparently lies. They never happened. Those people never existed. So, yeah.
Wow. Have you ever repeated a day?
Have I ever repeated a day?
Yes.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I have.
I have.
I'm gonna say that I have had 3 different days where I had deja vu since the day that I woke up to the time I went to sleep. And
Yeah.
I would have little seconds where I'd be like, wait, no, don't go across the road yet. Just hold on for a second. You know, small stuff like that. Like I was just like in the twilight zone.
No,
But never been consciously aware that I was reliving a day.
I relived a day in a cushionette when I was a teenager. I stayed out from school that day because I didn't feel good. And then all of a sudden, after I was home, I felt better. I don't know, something happened at school that didn't happen at school, but something happened at school when I wasn't there. And I was dusting the bookshelves for my mother because I said, well, you know, I'm starting to feel better, so I might as well get some dusting done because both my parents work. So I started to get some dusting done. I wake up again. I got a stomach ache. Same thing actually happens. Same thing is on TV. I'm getting the ladder to dust the shelves that haven't been dusted. There was dust on them. Literally, I went back a whole day.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was freaky.
I would want to. See, I'm weird. Everybody's like, you don't want that. No, I do. I want to experience being, you know, it's crazy. I get it. I want to experience meeting aliens or being abducted. I want to be brought back, like bring me back in one piece. But I want to experience that because I want to know what it feels like. I want to experience time. Well, I've already experienced time loss, but I want to experience time loop. You know, like what you're talking about, reliving a whole day.
I literally relived a whole day.
See, my problem is though I can't get answers because I've tried hypnotherapy. I've tried past life regression. Nobody is able to read me because it's either I have a block or I'm too chaotic when it comes to my past life. I've been told, I think Chris Garcia was the only one that could ever tell me anything about what he picked up from a past life. And
right.
That was me being in the military and law enforcement, you know, that type. But I don't know how many times I've lived. I can't tell you, you know, that I'm not pulled toward any specific area of the world. You know, some people say they have this longing to live in Paris and they've never even been to Paris or to this place and never been there. I don't have any fears that are not illogical. Like I have one fear and I'm still working on that, and that's basements. I don't like basements.
I love basements.
I'm getting better. The Monroe house is the only basement that I truly enjoy. But other basements I don't like. Wow. I hate them. And that's just because my older sibling and my great-grandfather used to torture me and put me in the basement and cut out all the lights and leave me there by myself. Like,
now, was that one of those memories that didn't happen or did happen?
I never really asked my great-grandfather if it was real or not. And me and my older sibling, we no longer speak. So.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short pause, and I'm going to shut my bloody alarm off on my phone and go get some more coffee. We're going to actually be right back right after this. Didn't mean to cut you off. Hold that thought, but that bloody alarm is driving me nuts. We'll be right back, guys. Is it going to play? It's not going to play. Hold on. Come on. Hopefully they can hear that.
Relax.
And again, now the music isn't playing. What the hell? Seriously. Alright, hold on, guys. Let me try this again. Nothing. Wow. This is weird. Look out, baby. Huh. Nothing. The hell, I lost sound? So weird.
Okay, I'm back.
I got no sound. So weird.
Hello.
So weird. Yeah, the music's gone. They don't hear any music.
They can just hear us.
This computer is freaking the hell out tonight, people. Seriously. I have no idea. Might as well just go back on. Wow.
What you snacking on?
Peanut butter popcorn.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah, you can hear us both. Well, you might as well see us while I munch on the popcorn. And he smokes a cigarette. I can't smoke until I go outside. Oh,
Sorry.
smoke one for me.
You need to get you a little smoke pen. Yeah, get you a little vape pen.
Can't do that either, yeah.
Oh, can you not?
Nope.
Oh.
Wow. I have no idea what's wrong with the sound of Blog Talk right now. So weird. Anyways, I don't know. We're here.
We're here.
Wow. That is so freaking freaky. So freaky!
Well, last week your words didn't even work. It was just the music.
That was
This
weird.
week, nothing's working.
I can't even do the applause. No applause, nothing. What the hell? I'm telling you, this thing is really freaky, guys. Anyways, hopefully you guys can still hear. But,
Let me see. Yeah.
yeah. It
You're good.
really is. Oh! This one looks good. How close are you to Arizona?
Me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're probably close.
Why? That's a drive.
Oh, God.
I know it is 20 hours or 23 hours from here to Washington. So to Arizona is probably like what, 18?
Damn. All right. I got one. This is the Ghosts of Slaughterhouse Canyon.
Ooh.
Intriguing, isn't it?
Ooh, I like the name.
Yeah, I
Slaughterhouse
do.
Canyon.
All right, let's see what it
Okay.
says. The story of Slaughterhouse Canyon, also called the less frightening Luna's Canyon. Actually, it takes place during the gold rush, during the 1800s, where a family who actually lived down in the canyon were very poor. So the father would venture out into the canyon for food for his family. As you might have guessed, one day the father did not return. So his family slowly starved and, descended into madness. The mother, unable to bear listening to her children's cries anymore, put on her wedding dress, murdered her children, and then threw them into a nearby river. The next day, she succumbed to starvation herself. The legend states that if you go down to Slaughterhouse Canyon at night, even now, you will hear the loud anguish cries of the mother who lost her mind.
That almost sounds like La Llorona.
La La Hula?
La Llorona. It's like the lady in white.
The
You know,
Lady
you
in
hear all
White,
those urban
yeah.
legends about
See,
the lady in white.
Yeah, we don't have the lady in white here. We've got the redheaded truck driver.
I'd be okay with seeing her more than I would the Lady in White.
No, we've got the mad redheaded truck driver. Literally, he's mad and he kidnaps you, and it's along. It's in Rainham. It's on what route is that?
That's like a movie. That's like
138.
the Candyman.
Yeah, 138.
Or was it Joyride?
Joyride.
something.
Joyride.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, another movie based on all of these things.
Now, yeah, Robert just said, and you have the black dogs as well. I have heard the urban legends about seeing the black dogs, but that was for the truckers, because my dad was a trucker growing up.
Yeah.
So he had his own business, so I always heard all their little crazy excursions, and they would talk about if they went too long without sleep, that they would start seeing black dogs cross in front of them. And if you ever seen that, you better pull over and get some sleep, or you were going to have a horrific crash and die. You know?
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, that urban legend, it kind of goes back to the scientific and the mental part of it, which is you can't stay awake for too long. You're going to start hallucinating.
Insomnia.
So,
yeah. Wow. Wow.
There was one that I read, and it was very intriguing. And I'll think of it in a minute, but would you consider the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, would you consider that an urban legend?
I would have to say yes and no.
Yeah.
Only because I feel that could be another time loop.
I feel like it's just a dinosaur. I mean, dinosaurs didn't all just die out. They eventually evolved to what we have now.
So
my
it's
beliefs.
Literally, there's a door. There's sometimes to me, there's like the door that goes back and forth. So I don't know. That would be something I'd have to physically see myself.
Yeah.
I would love to go there and see it. Nessie.
I still think that Megalodon exists. I don't think that Megalodon just died out. I think he still exists. I mean, there is way too many evidence, as far as the teeth goes, and these whales and sharks, like massive great whites, bitten in half.
Yep.
Okay, well, we know that great whites, they will eat on each other, but they don't have a bite radius for a 45-foot shark. They just don't. That's Megalodon. I think the largest recorded great white was blue, and she was 26, 27 feet long, female, and that's the largest ever recorded in the world thus far.
Jaws.
So,
the movie Jaws, even though it was based off a shark, it was still a gigantic one.
Right,
Jaws.
exactly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird
stuff. There really is.
So.
We had a legend here that on the train track, or not train tracks, it's called Gravity Hill, which it's not really an urban legend per se, but it's called Gravity Hill. You go to this road, and when you're looking at it, it looks like it's going uphill.
Right.
You put your car in neutral, and you get pushed uphill. Well, it's actually just a play in elevation. Like, to our eyes, it looks like it's going straight up, but due to gravity and the elevation, you're actually going downward. So it's like a play in the Matrix.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Matrix, another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I mean, there's so much shit. There really is. But I mean, let's see what else can I find over here. The Charman. From where? What state are you from? Let me see if I can find one to your state. Are you Arkansas? Did I lose you? Yeah.
No, I'm in Mississippi.
Mississippi. Let's see if they have one for Mississippi. Let's see. That's Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho. What else do they have? Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky. Oh, that looks like a good one. Louisiana.
So these are our top 8 urban legends for Mississippi.
Okay, go ahead.
We have the Witches Dance in Natchez Trace, which it's a legitimate place. Along where Natchez Trace, there's a place called Witch Dance.
Okay.
According to local legend, the area of the Natchez Trace known as Witch Dance was a popular meeting spot for witches. Upon gathering at this location, the witches would perform ceremonies including dancing. It is said wherever the witches' feet touched the ground during these dances, the grass would wither and die, never to grow again. These barren and scorched spots on the ground can still be seen to this day.
Oh shit.
Now we've actually went there.
Yeah.
I don't see any.
You see nothing.
No, not any circles. There's some barren spots, but it could very easily be where people were setting up camp because people can go and camp there. So they could have hollowed out a spot to make their campfire.
Right.
And horses ride through there. You know, there's horse trails. So there's numerous of logical reasons why some of that happened.
Huh.
The Singing River, which this is going to be in Pascagoula River, so it's down closer towards New Orleans, the Louisiana side of us. But according to legend, Pascagoula River has quite a dark past. Allegedly, the Pascagoula Indian tribe was in danger of being attacked by the Biloxi tribe. Rather than accept this dire fate, the tribe chose mass suicide by way of drowning. It has been said that the tribe marched into the Pascagoula River while singing a death song, which can still be heard to this day. I've never heard that one.
Wow.
I mean, to me, I have my own things. I don't know. I feel like somebody intentionally drowning themselves would not work.
No.
Because your human responses, your fight or flight's going to kick in, and you're going to kick to the top, unless you tie yourself to a boulder and throw it in, and there's no way for you to get loose.
Yeah.
I know that's a touchy subject, and I'm not trying to be unemotional towards suicide by no means, but I don't know. That'd be one that I actually know a lady who that's all she does is research Indian tribes of Mississippi. I may have to call her and see if there's any truth to it at all. There may be.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult because every area has like some like Native American legends and some energy on the land and or blood on the land that creates the energy is what it is. But over here we have Massachusetts. We have what is known as the Bridgewater Triangle. So I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Which one is it?
Bridgewater Triangle.
I don't think I have.
No. It's based on all true stories and accounts, like the Freetown State Forest. The officer, yes, the officer himself, he's a sweet guy. Alan Alves, he literally was the one that investigated and came across all the bodies in the Freetown Forest. Now, that is based off of truth. So we have that. Yeah. And then we have the other people about, oh my God, there's just so much. You know, there's the Wampanoag area because there's blood on the land there where King Philip's had his head on a spike. So there's all of this. So you figure if you create like an area, like the Bridgewater Triangle, an area, and I know it's wider than that, where all of these like massacres and negative energy and things that happen, it is going to create a lot. Right down to sightings of UFOs, and that's where the redheaded truck driver actually comes from. Those are all like things that people are eyewitness accounts, and some of these people, even the ones that seen the aliens, they're police officers,
right?
You know, and the one that investigated, of course, he actually investigated those down there too. So yeah, you know, there's a lot to it.
This one, I'm gonna see if you think it's real or not, and then I'm gonna tell you what our research has proven.
Okay.
So it's called The Witch of Yazoo. It was popularized by author Willie Morris' book Good Old Boy. The story dates back to the late 1800s. According to legend, an old woman who lived in Yazoo River would torture local fishermen. After hearing these reports, the sheriff tried to confront her, at which point she gave chase. By the time the sheriff caught up to the old lady, she was sinking in quicksand. Angered by the turn of events, she vowed to get revenge, exclaiming, In 20 years, I will return and burn this town to the ground. Of course, nobody paid much mind to this threat. Which grave, at which point they found a large chain. The day after a fire, several residents, in 20 years, I'll return to burn this town to the ground. Of course, nobody paid much mind to the threat. That is until 20 years later when a huge fire broke out and destroyed over 300 of the town's buildings. The day after the fire, several residents visited the witch's grave in Glenwood Cemetery, at which point they found the large chain around her grave had been broken in two.
No.
You don't think it's real?
No.
So, this is actually has a lot of truth to it. There is a woman that is buried in that cemetery. Her grave is there. It does have a chain around it. Now, whether somebody, put it on there or not.
Right.
Now, there's documentation that this lady was considered to be a witch. She was burned alive, but way back when, when the Salem trials started. She was burned, and before they burned her, she said that I will come back and I will make sure to burn this town to the ground.
Right.
Yazoo City has burned almost fully to the ground 3 times.
Wow.
Every 20 years, a fire breaks out.
Wow.
So, this grave is almost like Marie Laveau. The people of that town, they go and pay tribute to her to kind of appease her, keep her nice and all that stuff. But there is some truth to it. So, there's that Yazoo did indeed burn down 20 years after this lady died, because on her tombstone it has her death date.
Wow.
20 years after that, Yazoo burned. Years after that, it burned again. And then I believe it just burned. A couple of buildings burned not too long ago, like within the last 10 years. Parts of Yazoo burned again.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think that was true. It just sounded a little too a little
too woo-woo.
Yeah, a little too far-fetched. I mean, most of the time, yes, people can curse, but most of the individuals that were actually burned weren't actually witches. They were healers. Right. So
and we had a friend that went there, and I wish I had the picture of the gravesite or the gravestone. Right. But on the gravestone, there's actually stuff on there that would link her towards witchcraft, or what most people thought was witchcraft.
What was she using? Herbs and healing and things like that?
I believe that she was more or less, an herbal witch, a green witch, a hedge witch,
a healer.
Whatever you want to call her. I believe it was, but just like with any normal human being, you do them wrong. I mean, we're all vengeful to an extent. We try not to be, but we are to an extent.
True.
So,
because
somebody wrongfully accused me of something, and I'm about to die for it. You dang right, I'm gonna come back and haunt you and make you pay. You're not gonna sleep well. So
it's true. That is very true. But wow. So, I mean, just to let you guys know, I'm looking at a couple things, and another thing I'm very interested in is the Mayans. The Mayans. A lot of things that they talk about, and again, it's really hard to trace down a lot of what's going on with them.
Right.
Yeah, it really is, because some of it's legend, some it's not. The Mayan calendar, okay, the world. And again, you have to remember, even Notre Dame. Think about this. Notre Dame said, the world as we know it will end the year a Kennedy gets back in office.
Okay.
Now it's the world as we know it. So, the world as we know it, maybe he was mixing them together, and this is what these are like the way my brain works. The world as we know it has changed.
Yeah.
So maybe he was foreseeing the outbreak of the virus around the world and not knowing what it was. He just knew the world as we knew it was changing.
Do you know about the year that he said this?
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, no. It's all in my research notes.
If you had to just guesstimate, was it before 2012?
Oh,
before the Mayan calendar?
Yeah, I'm talking like the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
1816.
I'm not familiar with this guy too well.
Well, he was Notre Dame was he was a very famous. I guess they called him like a magician, but he actually was big into astrology and the stars and the signs.
Okay.
He used to work for he was very revered by a lot of the kings and the queens and things like that.
Right.
He was very connected to the French. So that's why I know a lot about him, because he does originated in France.
Well, he's not wrong, because if we go back and think and secure your tinfoil hats just for a quick second.
Yeah.
But if we go back and think, what was everybody's biggest fear for the year 2000? Y2K, everything crashing.
Yeah.
What happened instead? We boomed. Technology boomed after 2000.
Right.
Like, it didn't crash, it exploded and started going crazy. Now look what we have today.
Right.
And then the year 2012 happened. That's the end of the Mayan calendar. What if that wasn't the end? What if that was what he was talking about, the world as we know it?
Right.
What happened in 2012? From my research, because like I said, this is one of my favorite subjects, the Mandela effect. Most of the Mandela effects that we know of happened between 2006 to 2012. Between those dates. I can't remember anything after 2012 being different anymore. But I remember the monocle guy. I remember Chase Bank, their old logo that they used to have that apparently never existed. Jiffy peanut butter, not Jif, but Jiffy. The Bernstein Bears, not the Bernstein Bears. Things of that nature. I remember all that. I remember George, the little monkey dude, he definitely had a tail. I don't know what happened. He always had a tail. Because he used to hang on it. Yeah. Well, they say that Mandela effect, he never had a tail.
He had a tail.
He had a tail.
Yes,
I know he did.
He did. He had a tail.
But, that's one of the Mandela effects, is that he never had a tail. You'll never find in his books it being a tail.
But he had a tail.
But that's just like the Monopoly guy. The Monopoly guy always had the monocle.
Yes.
He had the monocle.
Yes.
Nope. I even dug out my old Monopoly game from when I was a child, and the son of a gun is not there.
But he had a monocle.
Yeah.
Wow.
I specifically remember the monocle. But you can research in all these old Monopoly boards, he does not have a monocle.
Wow.
Yep.
He does have a monocle, though. I remember it.
I specifically remember it.
That's weird.
Because I remember I always would go around doing this, like, oh, look at me, I'm the Monopoly guy. I'm fancy.
Yeah,
I
you're
was a
talking
weird
about
kid,
Curious George, though, right? Curious George?
Yeah, Curious
He had a
George.
tail.
Yeah. I remember
My mother
him
had
having
a
tail.
book. My mother had a
On the
book of
book?
Curious George, and he had a tail.
On the book and in the original cartoons, I remember him having a freaking tail. But according to all the research I've done, I don't have the books. Personally, I used to check them out at the library.
Yeah.
So I'm not able to go and look at my books to find. But I did have the Bernstein books, and they were all spelled Bernstein, not Bernstein.
Huh.
Which is weird.
Wow. Now that's part of what? The Manila? Or the... What did
The
you call
Mandela.
it?
Mandela effect.
Never heard of that before.
You never heard Mandela effect?
Nope. I know what a
my God.
Mandela is, but that's a
Okay.
Native American thing.
Well, when did Mandela die? Do you remember that?
Who?
the guy, Nelson Mandela. That's why it's called the Mandela effect.
No idea.
Okay. My parents remember him dying in the Robert may know, and let me just look. Nelson Mandela.
Name sounds
Okay.
familiar, but I got no idea who he is.
He was the former president of South Africa.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was he was the country's first black head of the state and first elected in fully representation of the democratic election.
Huh.
So, Mandela.
I hear giggling.
Yeah, you hear my kid in there.
Giggling. Wow.
Okay, so the Mandela effect started with him, really, and this one is the only one that really dates back to like the 80s, per se. But Nelson Mandela, it started out as people thinking it was a false memory, but he was in prison in the 1980s.
Okay. Yep.
He then died in prison in early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. They had a huge funeral for him. I mean, it even came over to America. Like it was networked in the American.
All right.
And then, so he died. He was dead. That was it. It was a big thing, big sad thing.
All right.
The guy actually didn't die until 2013. But everybody remembers the huge funeral that they had for him over there and here because he was a very prominent guy. So that's what started the Mandela effect because something happened and then in like late 2000s or like early 2000s, excuse me, he did some sort of interview and people are like, he's dead. How's he doing an interview? Like he died years ago.
Huh.
And then that's when the Mandela effect originally started. So that's why it's called the Mandela effect because it started with Nelson Mandela. And it's just what people call false memories. However, there is a lot, and that could be considered an urban legend per se because there's really no viable proof to prove that he died then because who's going to record a funeral procession?
Right. So, well, some people do. Let's give me this
Well, some
for
people
a
do.
minute. So, what you're basically talking about is okay. Like, say this is a string. Okay, these
Yep.
are two different universes of us. What happened was our universes crossed over, and in that cross, some of us are actually remembering different things.
Yep.
Okay, that's string
Yep.
theory. All right.
Yep. And see, what I actually believe, I'll use mine. When we crossed,
Yeah.
you know, we got the two. I believe that when that crossing happened, that some of us experienced a glitch to where we were sent into the different dimension, kind of like what I was talking about. So
Right.
you're here
Yeah.
in this realm. This is the parallel universe. When we crossed, your parallel universe self jumped into your lifespan, and you jumped into your parallel universe lifespan.
Huh.
And that's why I believe people like me, who childhood and early teenage memories don't match up because we were somewhere else. We lived in a different parallel universe.
Wow.
But then something happened, a glitch in reality, or like you said, the universes came together for a hot second, and poof, here we are.
Like the portal we just had.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we know other people weren't affected by the portal that was just opened?
I mean, really, we don't,
Yeah.
except for people like me who are always looking for answers.
Yeah, because other people's realities might have shifted, you know, the way that yours did. And the fact that teenage years, I mean, I remember a day repeating itself, literally. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
strange.
let's see. I was looking at some Mandela's effects. But yeah, Curious George never had a tail.
Wow.
It was the Bernstein Bears, not the Bernstein Bears.
Wow.
The Monopoly dude never had the monocle. And I'm not. Let me correct myself. They didn't just happen between 2006 to 2012. There were happenings before then, but it wasn't recognized widely until that area. Why is it so many people don't remember how to spell Flintstone? Okay, do you remember the channel Looney Tunes?
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, like the cartoon channel. You know, you had oh crap, Bugs Bunny.
I never watched much cartoons. I was never big on cartoons.
Well, I didn't know if like maybe your kids did because it was around even when I was born.
Wow.
But if you had to remember how Looney Tunes was spelled, how do you think Tunes was spelled?
Toons.
Loons?
No, Tunes. Toons. Tunes.
Okay. See, that's how I remember it being spelled too.
Oh.
It actually never was. It was always Tunes.
No.
That's what I said. Okay, here's you another one. Mickey Mouse.
Huh?
You're familiar? Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
Everybody loves Mickey Mouse.
Right.
Okay, don't think of the black and white Mickey Mouse. We're going to go to the color when they went to color. He never had suspenders. I specifically remember Mickey Mouse having suspenders because he had the gold buttons.
Yeah, he had the buttons. I used to draw him. He had the buttons. He had suspenders.
That's what I said. According to Mandela effect, that was never real. He never had suspenders. Now, the black and white shows him with suspenders, and that's what they're saying, you know, we're remembering incorrectly. But no, I remember, and millions of other people remember, him having suspenders and the buttons being gold.
Wow.
There's another one that, like, really made me angry.
Uh-oh. What is it?
I grew up watching the Apple Dumpling Gang and I Love Lucy.
Okay.
I love Lucy.
All right.
So, and I know that that's going to be on here. I mean, because I don't want to say it wrong. I love Lucy Mandela effect. Okay. So, according to this, Lucy was married to Ricky, and he always said, Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Yeah.
Apparently, he never said, Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
No, he did.
I remember that. Why does everybody remember that catchphrase?
My mother watched I Love Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's always been one of the biggest ones. But I have all the original VHS tapes. It's going to take me months to get through them, but I'm going to find it because I know, because it was the funniest catchphrase of all. Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Wow.
But nobody can find it, and I remember the specific episode that it was in. It was in a couple of them, but I remember one specifically. And I did some research, and the whole episode is on YouTube and some other site. Not on there. And there's no glitches. It's not an edited version. It is 100% the actual episode. Not on there.
You know, I just looked up a Mandela effect and even Pikachu. Because my kids watched Pikachu. He had the black on his tail.
Yeah, had the black on his tail.
Ah.
I mean, there's just crazy ones. The one about, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but if you're a Star Wars fan, you know, the infamous Luke, I am your father.
Yes.
Never said it.
Yes, he did.
That's what everybody else has said. Now, I've never watched it, but I remember
I
going up and
have.
seeing the
I've seen it at the movie theaters.
Yep.
Even Fruit of the Loom. They used to use the cornucopia.
Yep. So it's one of the most famous catchphrases of the film because I remember everybody would go around saying, Luke, I am your father.
Yes.
But according to Mandela Effect, he actually says, no, I am your father. Not Luke, I'm your father. No, I am your father.
Okay.
So tell me why these T-shirts and everything else says, Luke, I am your father.
I don't know. And why does C-3PO have a silver leg? He never had a silver
Yes.
leg. Never.
Yep.
He has gold leg. It was all gold. I seen the movie. I went to the movie theaters with my brother. We were big into Star Wars. We watched them all. No way.
Yep. So now I'm going to get you down the rabbit hole, Mandela Effect, and you'll see why I'm so intrigued by it, because it's crazy.
And I just gave my card collection to my daughter. And by the way, in my fucking card collection, C-3PO is all gold. Okay? He's all gold.
There's some evidence, or not evidence, there are some people out there putting forth these photos and videos and stuff saying that this is proof of it.
Yeah.
And such. But, you know, a lot of those, if you go back, it's also been proven that they were edited. So it's very hard to tell what's true and what's not unless it's you yourself doing it.
Yeah.
So I've made it my mission. My grandmother was addicted to Disney, everything. I mean, she had the Mickey Mouses, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, all of them, like all the time. I'm going to find the stuffed Mickey Mouse and the old Disney World shirt, and I'm going to prove that Mickey Mouse has the buttons and the suspenders.
But I literally have the Topps card collection. I just gave the whole collection to my daughter. But I do have the Topps original Star Wars series collection back from 1979. And yes, he's all gold. The hell's this gold and silver shit? Somebody trying to yank our crank over here?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crap.
and it could be, a lot of people say, you know, that it's, thank you. A lot of people say that it's, could be part of the MK Ultra mind control to see if they can make people believe that they're crazy, basically.
No, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
I remember that, but apparently, and I had that movie. But that's just like the movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Where he slides in with the white shirt and the underwear and the socks. Apparently it was a pink shirt instead of a white shirt. Or vice versa.
Wow. And she did say mirror, mirror on the wall, not magic mirror on the wall. That was crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember, I'm telling you, it's a rabbit hole and it's crazy. But that's what my whole life was basically feels like, is one giant Mandela effect. I mean, that's why I told Lisa, ever since I found that house in the woods, I don't know if I like walked through a portal and didn't know, because I've heard stories and very close people to me that I trust. You know, I trust their word. I trust them. And talk about having glitches in reality where they'd be walking down the road and then all of a sudden there's a glitch and they're looking in a Civil War era, or the town looks like it's in the Civil War era. I've read stories of people going into a bathroom, like a subway bathroom, and when they come out, they're in a whole different time zone. And like they get freaked out and they run back to the bathroom. And when they come back out of the bathroom, they're back in their normal realm. I mean, there's millions of accounts like that.
Yeah, just like Smokey the Bear. I grew up with that stuff. Smokey the Bear.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
See, I got you something. See, now we have something to talk about the next time I'm on.
Damn, I'm telling you, you got me going. I'm gonna be looking this shit up. This pisses me off. I'm not fucking crazy. I know this is real.
I'm telling you.
Damn. Holy shit!
It's a mind fuck.
Yeah,
Really.
I'm eating popcorn because I want a cigarette, so don't mind me, guys.
Go ahead.
Yep.
We're just chit chatting, chilling.
Yep. You know what? That's awesome, and sometimes that's like the best part. Rather than just planning, get a general idea, just go with the flow. Let it flow. Well,
that's how the best conversations happen.
Yep.
Is going with the flow.
It was Smokey the Bear.
Yep.
There was a the in there. Wow. C-3PO had all gold.
See, I have some diehard Star Wars fans that we're friends with, and they are like even angry about that. Like, no, and then they go back and watch, and they're like, "What the hell? That's not how it originally was." And I'm like, well, see, I remember Sinbad being the genie.
Yeah,
now, that's one of the most controversial Mandela effects out there because even Sinbad himself denies ever being a genie in the movie. I remember the movie. I remember the plot. I remember what he wore because when I was just a wee little tot, that was the one movie I always got when we went to movie gallery.
Wow.
You know, that was before Wild Wild West came out with Will Smith, but I would always watch it. That was one of my favorite movies. And you cannot find it. You cannot find any evidence of it. It's like it was wiped off the face of the earth all of a sudden.
Wait a minute. Everybody knew that Neil Armstrong died.
Yeah.
Because that's when the evidence came out. That's when they were able to release his evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow.
I mean, it's just like a never-ending thing. So then it makes you go back and wonder, you know, about thinking on the supernatural and the paranormal side of things. Like, can you really trust yourself?
Wow.
Can you really trust your mind? Which that's what trips me up, and that's why I have such a hard time believing in a lot of stuff. Because, you know, here I am. I'll be 29 next month. And I got I've been telling everybody for like months I'm going to be 30 this year. I was wrong. Sorry, I'm going to be 29 this year. But I'm 29 years old, and I can 100% say that I have no idea what's real and what's not real in my childhood and in my early years. Which upsets me because if I want to tell my child something, I'm not sure if it happened or not. Because a lot of things I went to my parents about, they swear up and down that it never happened. I mean, it's not stuff, you know, the perception of a child to the perception of an adult. It's not things like that. These are full-blown. Do you remember when I came to you and told you about the house that I found in the woods? No, you never came to us. I'm like, yes, because I dreamt of that house, and I have. I've dreamt of this house my entire life.
Wow.
It's changed a little bit, but it's still in the same spot, in the same woods. It's just sometimes it's taller, sometimes it's a little bit bigger, but it's the same concept. And I've dreamt about it now. To this, me and Alyssa went to go find it, and it's not in the spot that's always in my dreams, and that I remember going to it at first. It's actually on a adjacent side of the woods, but the house is not there.
Wow.
The pond is there, and a slab of concrete or a slab of foundation is left, and that's it. But there's no reason why that house is gone at all. Like, there's no reason, because I can tell you, just like it was yesterday, what it looked like inside, what it looked like outside, and how it made me feel.
Huh. The whole thing is just, it's like, wow. It's like my brain just like is like, shit, I gotta look this stuff up. Like, damn. You know, because I know these things are reality. Okay? It's not that it's my reality. I know it's reality.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe the government in, you know, connection with the aliens are trying to fuck with us.
Yeah. Could. It's either that or
Yeah.
some wires got crossed whenever both dimensions crossed each other or connected.
Yeah. It's
And maybe that's what 2012 was. Maybe that's when it ended there for the Mayans, because maybe they were told that this vortex between the worlds was going to happen, and from there, life as they knew it would end. Just kind of like what you said with that guy.
Yeah.
Life as we know it will end. Well, technically, it kind of did. It did. I mean, life as we knew it ended, and all this bizarre shit started happening.
Yeah. So weird. The whole thing is just so whacked.
Really?
Wow. It's really got me thinking now. The whole thing has really got me thinking. Holy hell. Wow.
You're gonna be Googling and researching all weekend now.
Maybe. My son just came down, so I'm hoping to actually meet my grandson and my granddaughter. He just came down. He's 2. So, but they were in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas City, Kentucky, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's down over there, and he just came up to visit with his wife and kids. So.
Now you're where? You're in Wisconsin?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
East Coast.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, East Coast. Right on the East Coast. That I am.
Massachusetts. I've never been to Massachusetts. We may just have to venture out that way next year.
Taxachusetts.
I've never been out west. Ever. And I literally am really close to it, because like I said, we're in Mississippi, so, South Carolina is really not that far, which is right on the East Coast, so.
Well, that's down below us. I'm up towards Maine.
You're way, you're way up high. I got some,
Maine, yeah.
I got some family that lives up in Maine, but I haven't seen them in years, but they're there.
Yeah.
I know it's cold up there.
Maybe a 4-hour ride to Maine from here. That's not bad.
No.
Not at all. All right. Guys, I have no idea what Kate and I are going to be talking about next week, but I'm sure we'll think of something. Then again, we might be showing you pictures and having you guys, literally, more participation here, guys. More.
We want more.
Yes, we want more. And let's see. Saturday night, crystal sales. I did get some new pendulums in. I definitely got some freaking awesome beads. So I'll be making up some more things. And I do have these wonderful little phantoms. You guys can
that's nice.
see. Look at that. I got some nice little phantom crystals. Check that out. They look better in the other camera, but look at that. Beautiful phantoms. I got those in. So I'll be showing those up in the pendulums. And I got 3 chakra pendants. So we'll be doing that. And we're going to be running a special on spheres. So don't forget to go check out, Susan Swanbeck. Go check out the public page for Susan Swanbeck. That's where I'm going to be doing it. My dog just barked. My dog didn't bark. My dog's on my bed. That was weird. So, all right, guys. We got about 8 minutes left, and I'm dying to have a cigarette.
Well, we can always just end it early. There's no shame in ending it a little early.
Yeah, we can. So, honestly, guys, get more participation. Let's all get involved. I'm going to stop building the shows early enough where everybody can share it out and everybody can come on and we can have some more fun and some chit-chat. So, I want to say peace out. I love you guys. And I will see you Saturday for crystals on the Susan Swanbeck page. And Monday will be chakras. Tuesday will be readings. Wish me luck. And I don't know if Victoria is well enough, not yet, to come on. So I'll keep you posted whether or not I do have a show on Wednesdays. That's usually a mystery guest. But again, thank you, Caden. You seem to be our regular guest co-host here. So Caden Mask from Southern Ascension. Or Northern Ascension.
That is I.
Yes. So, and again, we'll just keep throwing twists on everything. And don't forget, you can always re-listen to this on YouTube, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Play. You name it, it's there. Okay, guys? Just re-listen, download. We love that. So, and I just want to say bye. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
Go smoke one.
Yes, I am.
I'll talk to you later.
Luego. Say bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And end. Yes. And I don't even hear thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Seriously. What is up with this?